So finally, so we have the upcoming risks, and finally we have the hidden risks. And hidden risks are the risk we can't know. And here are two books that you might know. One with Nate Silver. So Nate Silver is a very famous forecaster in the US. This book is like 600 pages. I have it. I promise. I tell you, I didn't read it entirely, but I wanted this image to say the difference between the signal and the noise. And sadly, the signal is often lost in the noise. We know we don't predict very well, and we know we're going to get it wrong, and we're going to get it wrong more than once. So the idea is simply here to draw the lessons of our limitation. And so beyond all the effort that we need to do on the rising risks, on the upcoming risks, it's also build resilience and buffer. And also preparing this talk, I had questions from some of my contacts saying, well, is the stress test or is the stress, the credit loss that banks are suffering, the disruptions to processes and supply chains that are suffering now, should have been included in the stress testing and in the capital requirement? Well, in theory, yes, because we're supposed to forecast incidents at 1 in 1,000 years, and here we are in, let's say, if we take the Spanish flu, and now we take, let's see, we're at 100 years now. Give it in a few years, and it might be one of the pandemics of or one of the two pandemics of the next decade for what we know. But that also shows you that this decision to model at 1 in 1,000 years events is very hopeful, let's say optimistic. I don't want to say theoretical, because I like theory and I believe in theory, but it's not very realistic. But should have been included in stress testing? Yes. Was it? No. Does it explode the CCAR model at the moment in the US? Yes. So that shows our limitation. And so we back to this argument of flexibility and anti-fragility. So anti-fragility is one of the latest book from Nassim Taleb, and many of you are familiar with this author that says that basically, if I oversimplify his speech, is that you can't assess risk, so you have to build insurance and buffer capacity all the time. All the questions. Are futurists charlatans? It's a good question. I'm definitely not gonna answer yes or no. I read a lot of books about forecasting and risks, etc. I would say, if you look at forecasters, if you check the findings of some forecasters, check their models, okay? Check the information they base themselves on and what is the reasoning, okay? And so going back to the crisis we're living today, we are flooded with projections of number of deaths and infection rates, etc. The problem, at least for headline news, the problem we have is that, I say we as the general public, is that we cannot audit the models, and the instability and the assumptions of these models are, of course, very critical to define the results. It is true today for the topic that we all have in mind, let's say, but it's true in modeling in general. When you do a forecast, when you apply a reasoning, whether it's a model in your mind or a model on paper, check the assumptions. And so I'll take more questions, but I just want to make sure I finish all the content I promise you I'll cover, is resist linear thinking. And by linear thinking, I mean extrapolate the recent past to predict the future. And you see this little cartoon here that you might know, which is the analogy of the story of the turkey before Christmas. Okay, the turkey is fed and is well treated and it's very, very happy. And then come the 24th of December, and all of a sudden, this lovely trend comes to an end. And so in terms of trend changing, this is an apology for the quality of picture. I'll spare you the reasons of that. So you have the FTSE 100. I took the same. So it's all FT data, 5-year horizon, because of course, if you change your horizon, change the pattern completely. So you have the FTSE that had a bit of a drop, let's say, a bit of a sudden drop. in March, you have the couple, oops, sorry. You have the US, Euro-US dollar. I used to teach international finance and FX, you know, the number of hedging strategy that sort of hit a dent with the volatility of the stock market, and the Brent crude oil that has is ups and downs as well. The point here is that volatility is well known and well accepted in financial risk. It should be accounted for in non-financial risk as well. So what I'm saying is, when you do your assessments for risk, also include your margin of error. Realize that all your assumptions can have a range of magnitude in terms of error rate. Okay, I can take maybe a question more. I'll take more questions. Okay, so thank you guys for your questions and comments. Keep typing. I'll cover that as soon as I can. So just to finish on addressing hidden risks. That's really the idea. So the response to hidden risk is really what we refer to as operational risk or operational resilience, which is the art and science of recovering from external shocks. So it starts, how do you get operational resilience? Initially, you need excellent incident management. So being quick on the ball, and being quick on the ball is early identification. So detecting as soon as possible the event coming and the potential of this event. Okay, so I'll take an easy example: the fire in your house. If you have a fire near your stove, you could see, you know, well, you can recognize the start of a fire, and you know the potential damage, so you're going to stop it immediately, and so that will finish. Of course, what we had here is we identified the start of the fire. We knew the pandemic was starting. We knew when with a delay, but let's say late December, early January, where what we missed is the impact. And of course, the impact in terms of sanitary risk is significant yet disputed. But the speed of reactions were very small, and now the impact is, there's two impacts we completely under-assessed, is the sanitary impact, but now the knock-on effect on the non-sanitary impact. So what we have here, now we are in all contingencies and backups. So it's, what's our plan B? Okay, we can't do anything, pretty much anything that we used to do. So how do we replace that, and how do we work with alternative options? Okay, and that also means safety buffer and spare capacity and agility in transformation. I know many actually firms who had in their plan the capacity of working from home for 10 and 15%, and now are at 95, 97% working from home. So I will